My name's Bennett Brown. This is Buyi Espresso Bar in Old Bar. The vision of Buyi was to be, or have a place that was a breath of fresh air in the community, that people could have a bit of a home, that you could get specialty coffee, quick food, and yeah, just bring something cool to an area that I grew up in. Right from dreaming of this place, it had to have meaning, had to connect me to where I grew up, the people, and for me, this is Biripi country, and I have a lot of Indigenous mates, and I love meaning, I love words, I love stories, and for me the Indigenous culture represents all that. So I wanted to find a really cool word that represented what I wanted to achieve here and what I wanted this place to represent. And for me, that's something to do with breath or breathing out, and the ethos and the ethos of this place would breathe out to the community and what we represent. So I approached my mate and I threw out the idea, and he was able to find a local word that was the closest thing we could find to what that means. And Buyi means breathing hard or out of breath. And at first I thought, oh, that's not really it, but at the same time I feel like we're all a bit out of breath. It's a hectic world, there's a lot going on, and for me, I love that you can go to your local cafe, your local espresso bar, or even your local barista, and everybody's got to stop for that minute or 5 or whatever it takes to get their coffee, have their breath. I love it when they take that sip and go, oh, yeah, there it is, that's my favourite coffee, and go on with their day. And so that's what we want to be, is a place that people can catch their breath, but we also want to breathe out everything we love about life and coffee, and yeah, that's what that means. So we set this up from scratch. We leased this shop front. There was a few different things before us. There was a laundromat, a butcher, a dress shop, and I guess I always had my eye on it, be a cool little espresso bar. I always wanted to do something small and yeah, have kind of less overheads and keep things really simple and do things really well. And so yeah, we set it up from scratch. So my background's kind of youth work and coffee and other things, and so Buyi is the kind of combination of my passion for people and community and coffee and creativity. And so I've worked in several different cafes before this one, but I also have a background in community work and youth mental health and ministry, and so yeah, it's bringing that all together. But I was a bit scratchy from at the start. I'd been making coffee as a hobby, so I kind of kept up my skill. But Artisti's definitely been there along the way as we've been going, and I've kind of honed my skill, especially in specialty coffee and black coffee and filter and things like that. And the guys at Artisti have always been there for me to quickly call, send a text message, and they even ask the guys to send me photos of coffee grounds in their hands, so I'm making sure that the size is right, or I'm kind of representing their coffee the best I can. From the start, I wanted to partner with a roaster that wanted to partner with me and believed in what I was doing and would back me, and if I had an idea that they wouldn't tread on it and say, oh, you're never going to do that. Or like when I started the small business, I had a lot of people going, oh, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, watch out for that. But from the start, Artisti were really encouraging, really inspiring, and really pumped for what I was doing. So right from the start, I got really good ideas around budget, what we could do, what we could have in here, and Artisti's been with us every step of the way. One of the big things that Artisti helped with was looking at workflow and also what equipment I need to achieve the best results. So we're looking at a few cool items like the niche grinder, having the best kind of equipment with Mythos and La Marzocco, but also yeah, just showing the plans right from the start and looking at where things are going to be placed was a big help for us. And then also just yeah, what kind of drinks, what kind of things we want to serve, and how do we get the best flavours out of our coffee. The challenging thing about this space, but also exciting, is that it's so small. And for me, that's really cool because you can get creative with the space and every little part has to work. And yeah, so from the start, I chatted with Artisti, we talked about the layout, but I realised quite quickly I needed input from my dad, who's a builder. I have a friend who's a designer, the Artisti boys around workflow and where things need to be, including the iMilk rinse jug and all that kind of stuff. We spent a lot of time working everything out. But what I really love about this space is that it's an espresso bar, and it's almost like a normal bar that you can come up, that you can order, that you can lean on the bar, you can chat with the barista and you can see the coffee being made. It's quite scary. You can't hide behind the machine and just throw whatever in or get in a rush and lower your standards. It's all there for them to see. I can talk through what I'm doing. If it's a single origin, we can talk about the flavors and what that means. And we can literally make the coffee right in front of them until we pour it, and then we can hand it over. I think that's a really cool part of this shop and the experience of coming here. It's tricky having those conversations while making coffee, but we're learning, and it's something that we want to, we think is important that we want to do. And yeah, I think the biggest plans that changed were probably financial plans. Things are just a bit more expensive than we thought they would, and my dad's a builder, and I kind of thought we could throw together a cafe and do something fun, but I realised pretty quickly that we needed trades, we needed to get it right from the start, we needed to get it set up well, and so that was probably the biggest thing. I kind of thought too I'd just have a table with a coffee machine and do some pastries or something like that, but as we looked at the space and what we could do, we felt like we could do a couple of cool different items. And but as far as like the vision and the what we have now, it's not too far from what I imagined, but yeah, it definitely kind of was a bit of a bigger project than I imagined. I don't know if I'd change anything if I started again. I'm trying to think back, and it was stressful and hard and long days, and I felt like I had no idea what I was doing, but it was all about learning. And so I think, sure, I could go back and say, oh, I wish we had the shop set out like this, and all that kind of stuff. And even like, I would have loved to have more money backing me, but with family and being able to just kind of work around it and make the most of it, a bit of afterpay, we kind of made it work. So yeah, I just think, yeah, it's just been a really cool thing. And I think the most exciting thing for me, apart from making cool coffee, meeting really cool people, is being a small business owner. And I feel like I've got to know a really cool community. I feel really proud of what we do here. I feel really proud of my partner and our staff, and just that everyone wants to do really well and do really good coffee, do really good food, and we really value our customers. For me, I thought about this so much, and that's what I just do. I think about things for probably too long, but by the time that I opened, I imagined the whole cafe and what it would look like. And I had it was lucky that I grew up in this area, but I think that's really important. Like, I wouldn't have just plonked this anywhere. I didn't want to start a cafe in the mall or with a big kitchen, or I knew exactly what I wanted. And I'd worked at different cafes, I drew on what I learnt, and for me, I grew up here, so I spent like 18 years here and then on and off for a few years. So like, I knew the shop front I wanted, I knew what I wanted from a roaster, and I knew the experience I wanted my customers to have if I was ever do it. And I think, so my advice is really strongly know what you want, and obviously take on board things, but once you like get cracking, you got to really stay true to what you really feel is right, and just go for it, go all in. Like, I take forever to make this decision, but when I do, I go all in. And for me, that was what we did here. And I just knew that I felt like I wanted to create a model that would work. And I didn't want a big kitchen, I didn't want too many staff and all those extra stresses and expenses of a small business. I wanted to keep that all low, keep things really simple. And I feel like that's what we've been able to do here, because when things go bad, we can have one person in the shop and still put out good coffee and good food. Or when things go really well or busy, we can have 4 in here, we can have 5 and be cranking. So yeah, just my advice would be to think about like the model that you want and what you want out of your business. The other thing is that for us, this is values driven, this business. These 3 dots represent our 3 values, which is excellence, kindness and generosity. For us, we want to be generous in what we do. We don't want to overcharge just for the sake of it. We probably undercharge a little bit because we want to just give that little bit more. For me, when a customer comes to the shop, it could be the best part of their day. It's the start of their day, it could be the end of their day, and so we want everyone to have a really good experience, and we want to be kind to them. We don't want people to think that, oh, they're cranky at this place or they're not helpful. We want to be kind. And finally, we want to be excellent in everything that we do. We want to serve up really great coffee, really good food, really good ingredients, and we don't want to scab out in anything. We want to make the risk and give things that are really good and hope that people grab onto that and want more of it. So yeah, we're a values-driven business, which I think is really important to me.